Foden had some really good touches in the game as well, but second half they didn't really create much offensively, and defensively they looked shaky without missing the regular goalkeeper and their regular back four, which is understandable, I guess, in a way, if you're missing your whole back four plus a keeper.
Psychologically, is it difficult to approach that kind of game as a player?
It can be, but I think the players who played, they had something to prove tonight.
Yeah.
So they should have been up for it. There should have been more intensity in the game, but just sloppy at times, weren't they, in the defensive starts, the way they were passing the ball out. They gave the ball away too easy, and yeah, they just never really had the same tempo that we expect from the Man City performances.
And yet, it started pretty well. Gabriel Jesus back tonight, of course, for the first time starting since his injury, and all the City fans would have been delighted to see him come back into the team, and this is a lovely move, and he scores.
Well, lovely move. Sane, Foden, Bernardo Silva, no question of offside there. Megs, both players, little tap in for Jesus, who naturally was relatively quiet. Sane was lightning in the first half. Silva, they were the two best players in that first half, and it looked great for City at the beginning, but they just, in a way, it's like they stopped playing offensively, especially in the second half. And I thought offensively in the first half they looked very good, but defensively Basel put them under pressure on quite a few occasions.
You loved the little give and go in there as well, didn't you, from Foden
Phil
to Sane?
Foden's great in there. That's his best position, number 10, that little set. He does that incredibly well, but I think Sane coming in off the line, that recognition of where to be, driving through the midfield, is brilliant at that.
A well-worked goal, that's what we've come to expect from City this season, that kind of goal.
Yeah, and we've seen with Sane recently that slalom run where he's in and out of players, and he's done it again great there, and a few times in the second half as well. But yeah, they looked like there was opportunities for them every time they attacked then, but then after Basel equalised, they just sat back a little bit.
Yeah, it went downhill a bit after Elyounoussi scored.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you have to say it was a terrific goal, but I think, obviously, making all the changes that they did, credit Basel, you know, they try and play out, and Laporte finds himself in a strange position, really, for a centre-back. He never recovers. And
what is he doing on?
He's trying to win the ball, but obviously, because he doesn't win it, see, Danilo's almost at that centre-back position, Stones is out there, they're unorganised. Takes a bit of a deflection, just falls at Elyounoussi, and it's a really good finish. But the back four, the shape, you see Laporte coming back into the picture, that's your centre-back, left-sided centre-back. He's nowhere near it. If he's in his more normal position, he might be able to snuff that shot out from Elyounoussi, and I think that's probably Pep's frustration. Defensively, the back four, they weren't on the same wavelength at times.
What did you make of Laporte's role in that goal, if you like, or lack of it?
Yeah, it was surprising because he was certainly caught out of position, but in his defence, I would say it took the defenders that's there now a full year with Pep before they worked out what exactly he wanted. Laporte's only been in there 2 or 3 months, you know, so given over time he will work around. I presume he will become a good player, but at the moment he's caught in that sort of no man's land where he doesn't know whether to go all the way or sit back, and tonight he went and he got caught out, and the only disappointing thing for me is the recovery run wasn't enough. Yeah,
when you're the club record signing though, all eyes are on you, Owen.
Well, he's a terrific passer of the ball. You see that, you know, he's brilliant. He's got a wonderful left foot, big physical presence. Probably doesn't look the quickest. And maybe him and Stones, you know, similar ages playing together. I think everybody looks different when Kompany's next to them. Otamendi as well. So playing a lot of those younger players, Zinchenko, Stones, and Laporte, maybe there was just too many of them in the side, and they could have done maybe with a bit more experience alongside them.
Come back to the defence. In fact, we'll probably continue to talk about it because Basel got the winner. Michael Lang again, who scored against Man United, as you know, got the winner against them, has done it against City now.
Yeah, it was a great run by Elyounoussi, and Toure stayed with him the whole way. But it's just here where the City back line switch off. Zinchenko doesn't see what's coming behind him, and for me, Laporte should have come across and closed the area. But when we talk about leadership, you can see Stones and Laporte in there against one man. If Stones talks to Laporte, he comes across one. If Laporte speaks to Zinchenko, he comes back one. And that space for Lang to run into isn't there. And it's a good strike, but it's probably a shot you would expect that Ederson would have saved if he was in goal.
Ederson would have saved that, do you think so, Owen?
It's a brilliant run from Lang. Let's give him that. He hits it so early, and there's a lot of pace on it. I think it's difficult for the keeper, but he does get a hand to it. Maybe he would have saved it, but I think you have to say it's a brilliant run from Lang. Great recognition in Zinchenko, and Laporte and Stones, you know, again, maybe a tiny bit of inexperience. That run is a terrific one. He's a goal-scoring fullback, Lang. He's done that many times this season. He's their second leading scorer. You
imagine a few teams will be maybe trying to sign him up for next season. Pep Guardiola, what do you think he'll be saying in there tonight? Because of course he'll recognise the bigger picture was it's only the second time City have ever been in the quarter-finals of the Champions League, and they are through again. But he wanted a few players to prove to him that they deserve more playing time, and maybe they've not done that tonight.
Yeah, I think it's very important for City to go on and win the Champions League. Is going to need the whole squad on top form. You know, so their confidence will have taken a knock today, and they want them in training every day, being sharp, being intense, pushing the other lads. And today, they didn't put any pressure on the other players in the team. You know, their position seems safe, and this, you would imagine, certainly the back two and a couple of others will always be second choice now for the remainder of the season.
Interesting to hear Fabian Delph is out injured now, no time scale given to us there. Who plays left back if the quarter-finals were to start in a couple of weeks and Delph was out? Of course, quarter-finals are a bit further away than that, but if there was a big game tomorrow, who do you play there? Because Danilo
it would be Delph.
Out of sorts.
Yeah, no, it won't be Danilo.
But what if he's out injured though? That could all of a sudden be a problem.
I don't think it sounded like it's a long time with Delph. I mean, that's the issue. I mean, with Mendy's injury, I think Delph has been terrific when he's played. There's Zinchenko, I think he's played really, really well, but obviously the games, you know, against top-class teams, think about if he's going to play against a Real Madrid or Bayern, you know, that's going to be a real challenge. But I'd expect Delph to play, and I expect him to be fit.
Because you weren't impressed by Danilo tonight, but overall, defensive woes really across the back line.
Yeah, there was mistakes tonight. It was more a lack of concentration at times. Laporte and Stones didn't seem to have a good communication between them. They were caught out. Danilo could have possibly given a penalty away. But this is what we've seen last year, just sloppy. They've so much time on the ball. It's just a simple pass and they give it away. And again, Zinchenko in that position, I think him and Danilo found it quite difficult when they went into midfield. Well,
they were trying to go in and play that almost midfield position when they're in possession. But it's interesting to hear Pep say he wasn't worried about the defence. He was worried about the second half, that they didn't play. They kept the ball and they had loads of possession, but they actually didn't try and penetrate like they did in the first half. That tells you all about Pep's philosophy.
Yeah.
Defensively, they weren't great today, but the thing that concerned him the most was second half, that they stopped trying to play and stopped trying to penetrate.
We were talking ahead of the game though about who would your central defensive starters be if you had the choice. 4 good centre backs, we were told. All of a sudden Kompany and Otamendi look a little bit better, don't they?
Absolute bankers to play, I think, now. Kompany and Otamendi, and that's the thing. I think you give players an opportunity, you hope they play to the level, and it makes the job difficult for the manager. I don't think they've done that tonight, and I think that first choice 11 almost looks set in stone now for Manchester City.
I think as well with Fernandinho, well, he's a huge miss.
Yeah.
He would have helped them two centre-halves, especially he's got the experience, he can lead a team, and he does the job for them almost, you know. So playing without him is going to be difficult for either of the partnerships, I think, there.
That's a good point. One man who did play very well again, though, was Bernardo Silva. Started 10 of the last 11 games now, all competitions. He had a bit of everything again tonight, Owen.
He's a brilliant player. I mean, obviously plays on the wings. Not the quickest, but he's so intelligent. Makes brilliant runs. His end product is so good. That little stop start there, little step overs. That chop is brilliant. And him and Sané were the 2 best players for Manchester City. They really were heart of everything good offensively. And they probably could have had more goals in the first half, didn't take their chances, and it didn't really feature as much in the second half. Almost Silva, he kind of drifted out of the game, but wonderful football player.
Yeah, he was class in particular in the first half, wasn't he? Right, let's just look ahead then to the games that Manchester City have got to come, because they play on Monday night against Stoke away, and all of a sudden they've got a big gap because out of the FA Cup, the international break, so it's 19 days on, they play Everton away. You would imagine they'll wrap up the title sooner rather than later, won't they, Richard? Maybe against Manchester United. It could happen against Everton, but a lot needs to go right for them. So it could be against Manchester United in the derby. Then they can really focus on this Champions League run.
Yeah, I think they just want to get that League One now, you know, because it's going to happen. It's just a case of, right, let's get it over and done with. We will focus on the Champions League. But we've said it before in the show, it's so important that they keep that intensity in training. And when they've won the league and the players come in, like the players tonight, and they know